60,000 humans board a spaceship and look for a hospitable planet in our galaxy. Before they can find one, cannibalistic aliens swarm the spaceship, and the true battle for survival begins. The movie begins with planet Earth being overpopulated. Human activity depletes all the natural resources on our planet. The Earth can no longer support humanity, so scientists are looking for a planet they could colonize. The smartest people on Earth begin building the Elysium, an interstellar ark that is supposed to carry the next generation of humans across the cosmos to the new planet. Elysium will need to travel 123 years in order to reach Tanis, the closest planet that is similar to Earth and can support human life. 60,000 people board the ark, and the ship leaves Earth's orbit. However, because the Ark cannot carry enough resources for all 60,000 people on board, the majority of them are placed in hypersleep. To maintain the Ark, only a small crew of several men and women are awake. Every 2 years, the old crew goes to sleep, and they wake up a new crew to take their place. During the 8th year of their 123-year journey, the spaceship receives one gloomy message: "You're all that's left of us. Good luck, God bless, and Godspeed." Some time has passed since this message has been received on the spaceship, and the movie cuts to the awakening of Lieutenant Peyton and Corporal Bauer. These two members of the flight crew are at risk of pandorum and amnesia. These two mental disorders happen when a member of the flight crew wakes up improperly from his or her hibernation. While amnesia is easily explainable, pandorum is much more severe. During emotional distress, the individual with pandorum goes into deep psychosis, making the individual very dangerous to themselves and everyone around. Soon after Peyton and Bauer have been awake, they realize that the electricity on the ship is unstable. They realize that these power surges are the result of a nuclear reactor that's unstable, so the two men try to enter the bridge and fix it. However, when they tried to get in, they couldn't. To see what caused the problem, Peyton stays behind and attempts to get into the computer system on the ship. In the meantime, Bauer crawls inside the ventilation system and tries to locate the unstable reactor. While crawling through the vents of the ship, Bauer comes across a mechanic. His body has been horribly disemboweled, but before he could die, the mechanic tells Bauer to escape them. Before he can find out what them are, a loud noise wakes up the cannibalistic humanoids lying dormant, and they attack. It looks like they only respond to sound. Bauer manages to get away from them unharmed, and while searching the ship for answers, he comes across two other humans. Scared for their lives, they attack him. However, they soon realize that Bauer is not one of the humanoid cannibals, and they leave him alone. The woman reveals that her name is Nadia, and that she's an environmental scientist. Next to her is Mon, a farmer who doesn't speak a word of English. After some convincing, Bauer, Nadia, and Mon decide to find a safe place together. They come across a barricaded chamber, and they hide inside. However, the chamber is not empty. To their relief, it's another human being and not those cannibalistic humanoids. His name is Leland. He's been awake for many years and managed to survive thanks only to the algae that grew inside the ship where the water was leaking. He used that water for drinking. When he couldn't satisfy his hunger with the algae, he would resort to cannibalism to survive. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ship, Peyton meets Corporal Gallo. He reveals to Peyton that he killed his team while trying to save his life. He also reveals that the ship is lost in space, and no one knows how to get it back on track. Meanwhile, we go back to Bauer, Nadia, Mon, and Leland. After the cook fed the group, he reveals drawings of what happened on board. After the gloomy message informing the crew on board that the Earth was destroyed after a horrible disaster, Gallo couldn't handle it. He began losing his sanity and killed every member of his crew. He also induced pandorum into the other passengers on board the ship. Instead of teaching them to reach Tanis, he formed a violent tribe of pandorum-induced passengers and left them inside the ship while he went back to hypersleep. The descendants also had access to a special enzyme that sped up human evolution. Scientists gave passengers the enzyme in order to help them adjust easier to life on Tanis. However, stranded in space for hundreds of years, these descendants turned into bloodthirsty and nearly indestructible mutants. After telling them the whole story, Leland gasses the entire group. Before he could take Bauer down, he manages to convince the cook to leave them by telling him that the reactor needs to be stabilized. The group continues scouring the ship, looking for the unstable reactor. Before they can find it, Bauer goes to the pods reserved for family hypersleep in the hopes of finding his wife. However, he completely forgot that his wife refused to join him on the ship and died on Earth when the planet was destroyed. The realization that he is billions of miles from Earth and he has no one to love him pushes Bauer to the edge of insanity. He almost gives up. Luckily, he managed to get his thoughts together, but the group encounter a group of cannibalistic mutants. They manage to defeat them and find the reactor. However, a band of mutants is sleeping around the reactor. Careful not to wake them, Bauer crosses the walkway to reset it. Unfortunately, the walkway collapses, and Bauer goes into the mutant pit to access the ladder. Bauer goes to restart the reactor and fights through a sea of mutants, while Mon distracts the rest of them away from Bauer. The plan works. They reactivate the reactor, but Leland runs away. Meanwhile, Mon faces the leader of the mutants. In a bloody combat, Mon manages to kill their leader, but before leaving, he sees a mutant child staring at him. He spares the child mutant's life, but as he gets close to it, the kid slashes Mon's throat with its sharp cleaver. Meanwhile, Peyton and Gallo are having problems. Gallo is becoming more and more agitated, so Peyton prepares a sedative. When Peyton tried to give Gallo the sedative, he fights back. And that's when we find out that Peyton is actually the man Gallo killed many years ago. He took his body out of the pod, slid into Peyton's pod, and when he woke up, the amnesia caused him to think he was actually Peyton. Leland managed to reach the bridge, but Gallo killed him using the sedative he was about to use on himself. Later, Bauer and Nadia arrive on the bridge. They confront Gallo, but he opens the windows of the ship and reveals that they have drifted so far into space that there are no stars visible. Bauer loses the last ounce of sanity he had left. Using this opportunity, Gallo tries to convince both Nadia and Bauer that the only way to survive this is to maintain the violent society instead of attempting to revive human civilization. However, Nadia is not convinced. She sees something glimmering through the window. She realizes that it's bioluminescent light and goes to look at the computer. The year is 923. The ship reached Tanis 800 years ago, but they have been stuck inside the ship for the past 800 years. Nadia realizes that the Elysium is submerged underwater. Before they could explain what's happening to Bauer, he imagines that more mutants are attacking. Trying to save himself, he breaks one of the windows, and water gushes inside the ship. Nadia quickly took Bauer, placed him and herself into a hypersleep pod, and ejects it. As they reach the surface of the water, the hatch of the pod is released, revealing Nadia and Bauer made it safely to the surface. The flooding of the ship triggered the release of the remaining 1,211 pods from the ship. They all reached the surface of the water. Bauer and Nadia were no longer alone. Tanis now had a population of 1,213 people, the last remaining humans in the universe. It is now their job to revive human civilization and continue human life on Tanis. Subscribe for more videos like this, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of them.